The global economic landscape is in turmoil. China has just dropped an economic bombshell, slashing a staggering $690 billion in U.S. imports. This seismic shift is sending shockwaves through industries worldwide, with the automotive sector bracing for impact. As trade tensions reach a boiling point, the future of electric vehicles hangs in the balance. Where is this all leading? Is this simply counter-retaliation? Or is there something far more impactful waiting in the wings? Buckle up as we navigate the treacherous terrain of this escalating trade war and ask the ultimate question: can there truly be a winner in this high-stakes game? Welcome to Infinite Heights, your ultimate destination for cutting-edge analysis on global trade dynamics and their impact on the automotive world. Today, we're shifting gears from pure horsepower to a broader narrative on how escalating US-China trade tensions are revving up headwinds across the automotive landscape, from microchip shortfalls that throttle innovation to energy market realignments, pushing up costs. We're about to hit the accelerator on 7 economic obstacles that are reshaping the ride you know and love. Before we dive in, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. It's free, and it helps us bring you more in-depth analysis on the topics that matter most. Let's dive right in. Number 7. Semiconductor Showdown, the automotive chip conundrum. Modern vehicles rely on microchips, essential for systems ranging from advanced driver assistance features to infotainment. However, escalating US-China trade tensions have turned a once reliable chip supply into a high-stakes contest. Automakers previously enjoyed consistent access to overseas chip production. But now geopolitical strife disrupts that flow, forcing manufacturers to scramble for these vital components. U.S. export controls aimed at protecting sensitive technology combined with China's Made in China. 2025 push for self-sufficiency have accelerated this competition. Consequently, American automakers face delayed shipments and soaring chip prices, causing production delays and postponed model launches. Even industry giants are rethinking their strategies, while smaller suppliers confront existential risks as the semiconductor shortage intensifies. The ongoing crisis underscores the fragile balance in automotive supply networks. As of February 2025, the global chip shortage has cost the auto industry an estimated $210 billion in lost revenue. Major players like Ford and General Motors have been forced to temporarily shut down production lines, with some analysts predicting the shortage could extend into 2026. To combat this, automakers are now investing heavily in domestic chip production. The CHIPS Act, signed into law in 2022, is providing $52 billion in federal investments for domestic semiconductor research, development, and production. However, building new chip factories takes time, leaving the industry vulnerable in the short to medium term. Companies like Intel and TSMC are currently in the process of establishing significant manufacturing capabilities within the U.S., but these facilities are not expected to be fully operational for several years. Beyond government and industry efforts, innovative solutions are emerging. Startups are pioneering new chip designs that require less advanced manufacturing processes, potentially easing the strain on existing capacity. The industry is also exploring new materials beyond silicon, such as gallium nitride and silicon carbide, which offer superior performance in certain applications. Number 6. Power play, energy shifts. Driving up auto costs. Energy has always fueled automotive trends, but escalating US-China tensions are reshaping energy markets, impacting both production costs and pump prices. Historically, the US and China enjoyed balanced energy trade. Now, however, as China diversifies its energy portfolio through long-term LNG deals with Qatar and natural gas agreements with Russia, the established order is shifting dramatically. This change affects auto multiple fronts. Rising energy costs hit consumers at the pump, while increasing manufacturing expenses additionally reduce Chinese demand for US liquefied natural gas has hurt American energy companies. waves through automotive supply chains. This volatility complicates conventional vehicle production and muddies the emerging electric vehicle market, where evolving cost calculations force manufacturers to constantly adapt their strategies in today's economy. As of early 2025, global oil prices have surged to $95 per barrel from $80 in 2024, largely due to these geopolitical tensions. This surge is not only impacting consumers at the but also significantly increasing the cost of transporting vehicles and parts across the globe. Automakers are facing tough decisions on how much of these increased costs to absorb and how much to pass on to consumers. Shift in energy dynamics is also accelerating the transition to electric vehicles. China, the world's largest EV market, is doubling down on its commitment to electrification. In response, U.S. automakers are ramping up EV production, with General Motors pledging to offer 30 EV models globally by 2025, and Ford investing $22 billion in electrification through 2025. However, the rising cost of raw materials, lithium and cobalt, essential for EV batteries, is threatening to slow down the pace of EV adoption. Furthermore, the push for energy independence is leading to increased investment in renewable energy sources. Solar and wind power are becoming increasingly cost competitive, offering a potential hedge against volatile fossil fuel prices. Automakers are exploring partnerships with renewable energy companies to power their manufacturing facilities and charging networks. Number 5. Supply chain shakeup, rethinking the auto assembly line. Global chains have long been the engine that powers auto manufacturing, with parts and components flowing seamlessly across borders. However, as China slashes nearly $690 billion in U.S. imports and seeks new trading partners, the network that once fueled production is under immense strain. Disruptions now mean longer wait times, inflated cuts to price, outright shortages of key components. Automakers are forced to diversify their sources and invest in domestic production, a shift that, while promising future resilience, brings hefty short-term expenses. Innovations in supply chain management, from AI-driven logistics to blockchain-based tracking, are emerging as essential tools to navigate these waters. The industry's lean manufacturing ethos is now being tested by the need for a more flexible approach. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts, just like you. Now let's shift gears and steer towards our next point. Automakers are now exploring a variety of strategies to mitigate supply chain risks. These include nearshoring, relocating production closer to home in countries like Mexico or Canada. Shoring, bring production back to the U.S., often with the help of government incentives. Diversification, sourcing parts from a wider range of suppliers, reducing reliance on any single region or country. Stockpiling, building up inventories of critical components to buffer against potential disruptions. Technology is also playing a key role in transforming supply chain management. AI-powered logistics systems can optimize transportation routes and predict potential disruption, while blockchain technology can provide greater transparency and traceability throughout the supply chain. Number 4. Tariff turbulence. Navigating the trade war's impact on cars. U.S.-China trade tensions, defined by a barrage of tariffs and retaliatory actions, have profoundly impacted the automotive sector. Aggressive tariff measures aimed at pressuring Beijing have inadvertently raised costs for auto parts and components, with hundreds of billions in affected goods. American manufacturers now face soaring production expenses that ultimately lead to higher prices on new vehicles. Tariffs are not mere numbers. They create real challenges that disrupt established cost structures. As China countered with its own surcharges, both major automakers and smaller suppliers experienced significant ripple effects. This forced re-examination of sourcing strategies and supplier partnerships continues to reshape competitive dynamics and the overall landscape of automotive production. These evolving trade policies severely burden manufacturers while challenging consumers and industry stakeholders worldwide. The impact of tariffs extends beyond just the cost of goods. They also create uncertainty and instability, making it difficult for businesses to plan for the future. Automakers are facing tough decisions on whether to absorb the costs of tariffs, pass them on to consumers, or shift production to countries that are not subject to these tariffs. The long-term effects of the trade war on the automotive industry are still uncertain. However, it is clear that these tensions are reshaping the global automotive landscape and forcing companies to adapt to a new reality. The industry is now bracing for a prolonged period of uncertainty and volatility as the US and China continue to clash over trade policies. Number 3. Supply chain shifts, recalibrating global auto alliances. As alliances drive competitive advantage, escalating US-China tensions force the automotive industry to re-examine established supply networks. Traditionally, China was a key market for American auto parts and technology. But Beijing's move to cut ties with US suppliers has disrupted trade flows and sent shockwaves through the industry. China's strategy to reduce reliance on US imports aims to diversify and secure its supply chains long-term, forcing suppliers once buoyed by American demand to navigate a reoriented global market. Countries like Brazil, Russia, and European nations are stepping in, compelling automakers to forge new partnerships and reevaluate production sites. This seismic shift is spurring domestic production investments supported by government incentives and advanced digital analytics to cope with rapid trade policy changes decisively. The changing dynamics are not only impacting the flow of goods, but also the flow of technology and investment. As the US and China seek to decouple their economies, companies are facing pressure to choose sides. This is leading to a fragmentation of the global automotive industry, with distinct ecosystems emerging around the US and China. The rise of regional trade agreements, such as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, (RCEP) in Asia, is further accelerating this trend. These agreements are creating new opportunities for automakers to diversify their supply chains and access new markets. Number 2. Rising consumer costs. The domino effect on vehicle pricing. Trade tensions and supply chain disruptions ultimately impact the consumer's wallet when tariffs and production challenges drive up costs. Those extra expenses are passed directly on to you, the buyer. Recently, friction between the US and China has forced automakers to adjust their pricing to cover escalating expenses for parts, energy, and logistics, creating a domino effect that pushes vehicle prices upward. As a result, once affordable rides now carry premium price tags, the increased costs extend beyond the initial purchase, affecting financing, insurance, and resale values, with manufacturers striving to balance margins amid disrupted supply chains and mounting tariffs. Buyers are left facing fewer bargains and steeper prices, currently a trend that industry analysts warn may persist without a new global trade equilibrium. The rising cost of vehicles is not only impacting new car sales, but also the used car market. As new cars become more expensive, demand for used cars is increasing, driving up prices and making it more difficult for people to afford transportation. The affordability crisis is particularly acute for low and middle-income families, who rely on personal vehicles for transportation to work, school, and other essential activities. Policymakers are now exploring ways to alleviate the burden on consumers, such as providing tax credits for electric vehicle purchases or investing in public transportation. Number 1. The Decoupling Challenge. Reimagining US-China automotive ties. Finally, we face the decoupling challenge, a truly transformative dilemma set to redefine global trade and automotive production. After decades of interdependence, US-China ties are unraveling, leaving the auto sector in uncharted territory. The collapse of long-established supply chains, along with a shift from traditional partners, forces automakers to rethink every facet of operations. US manufacturers, once supported by a Chinese market, must now innovate and adjust rapidly. The loss of Chinese demand for American components is not merely a setback. It is a fundamental shift affecting production, pricing, and innovation. For years, Industry leaders call for a review of supply strategies, stressing domestic manufacturing and diversified partnerships. Though challenging, this shift offers an opportunity for the industry to emerge stronger and more resilient. Decoupling is not just about trade, it's also about technology, investment, and talent. The US and China are increasingly competing on all fronts, seeking to establish dominance in key industries like electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, and advanced manufacturing. The long-term implications of decoupling are far-reaching. It could lead to a more fragmented global economy, with distinct technological and economic spheres of influence. It could also accelerate innovation as companies compete to develop new and superior technologies. Today's discussion highlighted how US-China trade tensions are reshaping the automotive landscape. From semiconductor shortages and rising energy costs to disrupted supply chains and changing consumer prices, automakers are under immense pressure to innovate and adapt as traditional trade relationships crumble, forcing a complete rethink of production strategies. From semiconductor shortages and rising energy costs to disrupted supply chains and changing consumer prices, automakers are under immense pressure to innovate and adapt as traditional trade relationships crumble, forcing a complete rethink of production strategies. Meanwhile, his protectionist trade policies, marked by tariffs on imports from China and other countries, have disrupted global supply chains, raised prices for consumers, and invited retaliatory measures from trading partners. How do you believe these global shifts will influence the cars we drive and the industry at large? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below for the latest updates on the automotive world and more in-depth analysis. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Are we steering towards a more fractured global trade system, or could these tensions pave the way for greater innovation and resilience in the automotive world? The answer, it seems, depends on whether we're willing to shift gears and adapt to the road ahead.